Have you ever felt like everybody else has their lives figured out? Or maybe you're waiting for an answer, a sign, or a breakthrough. Or maybe you just feel like God's forgotten you. If any of those resonate with you at the moment, this episode might be for you. Talking all about how God hasn't forgotten you and a reminder that he is still with you, even if it doesn't feel like he is there. So for those who are new here, I'm Liv. Welcome back or to Grounded Conversations. So recently in my own life, I've been feeling quite uncertain about university so I've just finished my first year and whether I should continue on with that, my future, money, and whether I'm on the right path. So very big topics. And I thought I'd share with you guys some things that are helping me work through that and how God is helping me work through that as well. So the first thing is, just because we can't see God working doesn't mean he isn't doing anything. He's constantly working behind the scenes and acting in ways and doing things even when we can't see him. And I think we often want the full plan of our lives, and we often want God to give us a whole map and a whole plan of how our whole life is going to turn out, when actually that's not how he works, and it can be hard to see that and live through that a lot of the time. Because I think God usually gives us the next step rather than the whole staircase or the whole plan. He'll just give us one thing at a time, or he'll give us one flower at a time before we build a whole bouquet. I think he takes us in steps to get us where he wants us to be rather than showing us the whole thing. Because I know, even just with recent things he's been doing in my life, if I had even known a couple of years ago that this is where I'd be right now, I would be freaking out and I would be really scared, and it would push me away from the things that I've actually think I've been called to do. And I think for me in my life at the moment, something I've been working through is coming to the end of my first year at university where I've been studying marketing and just thinking, is this really the path I want to be on? Because anybody who knows me personally knows that I am obsessed with musicals and I love them with my whole heart, genuinely. And I chose not to go to drama school. I chose to do marketing because various different reasons, and I think it would just open a lot more doors for me. But granted, saying that, I still miss acting and I still miss being on stage and I still miss everything. And I think I just had to sit with myself and sit with God and be like, look, I know you want me at this university studying this thing, but I do feel like my passions are still pulling me elsewhere. So what do I do with that? And just working with God to be like, actually stay on this path, but add these things in, and you can still keep doing theatre in different ways and still keep doing acting in different ways as well. And just working through what that looks like. And even applying for summer jobs, having to really, I feel like money is obviously a big aspect of everybody's life, but especially with students, when you're having to pay for rent and maintenance, and your maintenance loan doesn't cover everything and everything else, and it can just be quite overwhelming. So I've obviously been looking for a summer job, and I have got an interview tomorrow, I think. But I think having to be honest with myself and honest with God, being like, actually, I am struggling in this area of my life, and I always pretend I'm not, but I am struggling, and I don't know where I'm going to get this money from for my rent. What do I do, Lord? Please help me. I want to give this in your hands. Please help me trust you. And I think part of me is still holding on to that, and I don't think I have fully let go yet. But I think God is actually telling me to find other ways to find money and opening other doors to me. And I know that God is going to put me in the place that I need to be. I just need to trust that I will get there rather than trying to take it into my own hands, because the best hands anything can be in are God's at the end of the day. And I think sometimes we assume nothing happening and no progress means that God is absent, when that's not the case. He's literally as close as our breath. He's so close to us. We just have to trust that he's literally all around us everywhere. We just have to trust that he has got it and learn to leave it in his hands, no matter how hard that is for us. Because maybe God is working behind the scenes in ways we can't see yet. Romans 8:28 says, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. That's just a little reminder for you that God is going to bring more good to your life. You just have to trust that it's going to get you there, as much as it's annoying. And also Esther's story serves a really great reminder of this as well, because in the book of Esther, God's name isn't mentioned at all throughout the whole book. And so it serves a really good way of just reminding you that God is still working through everything and working behind the scenes, and all these coincidences are God playing his role as our creator and writer and everything else. We just have to trust that the story is in his hands, and that we're where we are for a reason, and that God has put us where we are for a reason, and that he is going to use that for good. And we just have to trust that his plan is greater than ours, because he's literally created the whole universe. So we just have to trust that this amazing creator, the best creator to ever exist, has our story in his good hands, and that he's got us and is leading us the way. Because I think sometimes as well, God wants to work on us and work on our character before we are given the things we're praying for, or given some of the things that we want out of life. For instance, for me, I think growing up and even now especially, I've always sort of idolised, I guess, the idea of having the perfect rom-com relationship, or the perfect romance, to the point I even write letters to my future husband, which is something I really enjoy doing, and I don't do it that often. but I think it's really made me put it on such a high pedestal and put love on such a high pedestal and loads of other things. But on student weekend away with my church, I was being prayed for a couple of times and realised that actually I have a really deep-rooted belief and sense that I'm unloved and I'm not deserving of love in a way. And that's obviously a really heavy thing to sit with, and it made me feel really overwhelmed, and feelings of being unloved came to the surface, and that was very heavy. And that was only in end of January and it's June now, so I'm still working through that. And I think I was sitting with it for a while, and it felt quite painful and confusing at the time to be like, why is God reminds me of this? This is something I don't really want to be brought up, and I kind of don't want to think about. So why is God reminding me of these feelings and where they've come from? And I really struggled with it with a while, and I was really wrestling it. And I think part of me did sort of push away from God to be like, whoa, this is actually really scary, this is a bit too much, I'm gonna take a step back and take a break because this is a lot. And on my birthday, actually, I did a pub quiz with some of my amazing friends from my church who don't actually know this, but if you guys are listening, hey, I guess. But had a really great day on my birthday, surrounded by loads of my friends. My mum came to visit me, and I did feel really loved. But then when I got home for the day, I felt overwhelmed by all the amazing love that I was being shown, because it's something I hadn't necessarily let fully into my life before. So I did end up having a bit of a breakdown as well over that. And then I was talking to God about it, because I was like, what is going on? How do I work through this? And I think I realised, and well, with God's help, I realised that there's a lot of things I need to heal from in order to get to a place where I feel God's love for me and the love of all my amazing friends and other people I'm surrounded with, in order to be able to invite a relationship type of love into my life. And so I said I'm not going to even think about dating or relationships or anything like that until end of September and afterwards, because I have a whole journaling thing. I journal a lot about it, and I'm just really trying to work through that. I've really been trying to put the work into myself in order to achieve that. And I think looking back, God was exposing something painful in order to help me heal from it and turn it into good, and to bring more good into my life and help me be able to feel the love that I'm surrounded with, rather than pushing it away and blocking it away. Because it wasn't God abandoning me or God being like, haha, you went through all this, that's made you feel awful. It was actually God being like, hey, I recognise that you're hurt, help me heal you, work with me so you can get through this and you can be better on the other side and feel so much more filled and loved on the other side of this. And it's definitely a journey. It definitely can be a lot some days, but I'm really grateful that God was so kind to want me to actually experience all the love that is in this life. And I think it just shows how the Lord is close to the brokenhearted, and that he is as close as our breath is, and that he loves us all so much as his children, and that he is such a good dad and such a good father. Because one of my friends actually talking to me about this as well, because my lovely friend who was praying for me, she was saying that I sort of think that God is going to drop me, such as imagine a child being on the shoulders of their dad, and I think that I'm going to be dropped, whereas God actually has me and is holding me, and he's always there with me, and he's always walking with me, and he's never going to drop me, and he's never going to let go, and he's literally guiding me by my hand. And I just had to trust that he's not going to drop me, which obviously can be quite a hard thing to do. But I think the fact it's obviously a child and their dad, children don't spend, if a child is picked up, they don't spend the whole time being worried about it. They actually think it's so exciting, and it's such a fun time to be having with their father, and that they just appreciate the journey rather than worrying that they're going to fall. I think that's how God wants us to trust him. He wants us to feel like we're his kids who can just be put on his shoulders, and that he can just hold and carry, and that we will let him carry us, that we will let him take us through the hardships, and we will let him be there for us. And we won't always understand the route he's taken us on, and we won't always understand the timing of the things he's putting us through, but we can trust who is carrying us, and we can trust that we are being carried by such a good and loving father, and that he has got us the whole way. And I'm so grateful to say that. And it's just a nice reminder, actually, God wants me to feel the love of my friends, the love of so much in so many people in life, and also the love of him. And I'm so grateful that he wants to show me that, and wants to give me that opportunity. So maybe you do feel forgotten, or you're waiting for direction, or maybe you're questioning what God is doing in your life, or whether he's actually is working. And I can't tell you exactly what God is doing in your life, because it obviously is between you and God. So just go pray, guys. But I can tell you what he's been teaching me, and that is that his plan is so much bigger than our understanding. We just have to learn to trust it, and trust that the creator of the whole entire universe has also created a plan for us. We just have to hope that he shows us the right directions, and which he obviously will, and trust that he will get us to such a good and amazing place in life, and just trust where he's taken us and how he's taken us there. and that he is working even when we can't see it. Like going back to Esther, so many things happened in that book that weren't just coincidences. Everything lined up perfectly so Esther could save her people at the end of the day. That's why she was probably made queen and all these other things. So you just have to trust where God's taking us, whether we don't fully understand the purpose of it or anything else, because God has a plan, which is so much better than ours. He hasn't forgotten you. Don't worry about that. He literally knows he literally knows the amount of hairs on your head. He knows everything about you. He hasn't forgotten you. Just trust that he's working, even if he does feel very quiet at the moment. He isn't going to drop you. He's got you. He's carrying you. He's holding you by the hand and guiding you the whole way. So just keep taking the next step and just have faith that he's got you, because he's so loving and so good. So just trust that he is holding you on his shoulders and guiding you by the hand, and that you're going to get through this. And so if you are struggling to trust God at the moment, is there a specific area that you're struggling to trust him in? If so, feel free to message me if you want to talk about it, or leave it in the comments below. But thank you all so much for listening. A new episode will be out in a couple of weeks' time, and I'm so excited for you all to hear what we've got coming up. So yeah, thank you all for listening. I'll see you all very soon.